platform of Brahman. The Brahman platform means what? That we have to understand. Brahman means which is pure, without any contaminations of this material world. That we have to understand. Avyabhicharena bhakti means unalloyed devotion. A person engaged in the devotional service must be free from material motives. In this Krishna consciousness movement, one's consciousness must be changed. If consciousness is aimed toward the material enjoyment, it is material consciousness. It is material consciousness. If it is engaged in sense gratification. In a surrendered soul serves Krishna without material consciousness. That is Anya Abhilashita. So what is that Anya Abhilasha means? No other desire. Which desire? What it is? Anything which is not directly connected with the Krishna, that comes in the title of Anya Abhilasha. Just today morning in Srimad Bhagavatam we were discussing that the pure devotee, how do you know that someone is pure? That he has no any other desire than to please God. Otherwise, Anya Abhilasha means other desires are there. And what are these desires? Like if someone has renounced everything of this world, but still if he is interested in making his own disciples, tries to cultivate knowledge so that people can see him scholar, that is also Anya Abhilasha. Even though it is spiritually, it's okay taking some responsibility, gaining some knowledge. But if that is not meant to cultivate your Krishna consciousness, it's useless. Jnana karmadi anavritam. In the further he says that Anya abhilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavritam. Means there should not be any desire to acquire knowledge, because sometimes you may get a knowledge, but that knowledge makes your heart dry. Like due to the drought, what happens? The land gets totally dried up and it cracks. There is no softness at all. And if you try to saw something there, then it never grows. To cultivate something, you need to have a proper heart or proper land where you can, or fertile land where you can saw something and it will come up. But because of the knowledge, everything, your heart becomes so dry. That's why most of the Jnanis, they are not able to take a Krishna consciousness because of hard-heartedness. And when you start rendering devotional service to the Lord, then what happens? That makes your heart soft. Because there is a love. You may have knowledge, but if you don't have a love, it's useless. So even if someone does have some desire to do some karma and get some good reaction or knowledge, then that is also useless to acquire a devotional service. That's why specifically he says that Anya Abhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmadi Anavritam. Unalloyed devotional service, which is transcendental to such activities of the mind and body as jnana is mental speculation and karma is fruity work. It's called pure bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga is the proper activity of the soul. And when one actually engages in unalloyed, uncontaminated devotional service, he is already liberated. Sagunana samatityan, he gets liberated from the modes of material nature. When you perform some activities or get attached to perform some activities, then definitely you get entangled. So it's simple, Savi. Unless one is actually a devotee, he cannot see another devotee perfectly. The same thing. You can't judge others unless and until you are either superior to him or equal to him. Sometimes we see that some people say, oh, he's a very nice devotee. What it means? How do you know that he is nice devotee? Are you nicer than him or are you nice like him? Or whether you wanted to tell him that, oh, I'm also nice devotee, so it's nice. By telling him nice, you wanted to make sure that you are also nice. Here it is, Prabhupada writes down, unless one is actually a devotee, he cannot see another devotee perfectly. How to understand that?
When you're good, you recognize good in others.
Is that true?
It seems to me also that when someone else is good, you can see how they stand out. You can see their warmth, their love, how they treat each other, you can observe. With my own self, I can't be objective.
The person who knows the value of thing, only he can know, identify that thing. Like once one disciple approached his spiritual master. He asked him, what's the worth of my life? It's useless actually. He said, okay. Gave him one story. He said, just go and ask different people about the price. But don't sell it to him. He said, okay. He was at least that much obedient. So he first went to the person who was selling vegetables. And he showed him, what's the price of this? And then he took it, he weighed it, I think it's 1 kilo. Do one thing, I give you 1 kilo of sabji. You just give it to me, I can use it for weighing it. He said, okay. Give me back. Take it from me. And he went to one big shop. There he gave it to him. He took. See that. But he felt like it is something different. It's not a normal store. So do one thing. I will give you like 100 coins, gold coins. You give me this one. He said no. Took it from him. He said 100 coins. He was giving me 1 kg of vegetables. Now he is giving me 100 coins. He said, let me try. So then he went to the goldsmith. Then he showed it to goldsmith. He said, okay, do one thing. I will give you like a 10,000 gold coins. So let it be with me. He said no. Put from back from. Then the goldsmith informed one expert person who knows about gems. So that person, he came runningly. He said, where is that fellow? So then he said, can you show me that stone? He said, I think at least in this world no one will give you this, the exact amount of this particular stone. It's priceless actually. No one can make it out how much it costs. But definitely I will tell you, if you give it to me, the rest of the life, whatever you desire and need, I will provide for you. And he took back and he came to his spiritual master. He said, from Sabjiwala up to the gems merchant I went, everyone has given different values for this stone. And he said, same way, your life is also that value. If you approach the person, as per his capacity, he will evaluate. The person who knows really about it, what it means, he can give you the real price. And who is that person who knows about our religion? It's Lord only. He gives you means and He gives the process through which you can attain that. So same way, to understand someone, you need to know about something about that person. Something about the wonderful qualities. And whoever becomes devotee himself, he can know the other devotees because he has that experience. And further it is this, as explained in the previous verse, there are 3 types of devotees. Who are they? Are you here or where? That's what your question bank or like?
I wanted to have to answer.
He's testing me, Prabhu.
To
whether
make
I-
sure that you are
Yeah,
here.
yeah, he's testing
You
me.
asked.
Like how Prabhu told, he will test everything in home, but nothing in office.
Krishna. Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari and Uttam Adhikari. The Kanishta Adhikari cannot distinguish between the devotee and non-devotee. For them, oh, everyone is nice, you know. He's such a wonderful person. He's so kind-hearted. They don't bother about whether he's a devotee or not. Like they are Paramahansa. They'll see everyone as like that. So these are a Kanishta Adhikari. For them, everything is okay, you know. This Baba is okay, that Baba is okay, he is also spiritual, that is also spiritual. Unless and until you know what is devotee and what is not devotee, it's dangerous. So the next, a Madhyam Adhikari, however, can distinguish between the devotees and non-devotees, as well as between the devotee and the Lord. Thus, he treats the Supreme Personality of a Godhead, the devotee and non-devotee in different ways. Otherwise, there is one cult particularly. First, they say, oh, you are such a nice person. That person himself becomes, you are like a god. You know, I am also God. This is what the philosophy starts.
I'm also God, I also have God.
Yeah, in my office, which I left there also, she said.
They are also God. Huh?
They think that they can become one with God.
Yeah, just ask them to reverse that verse. Then your identity will come.
She did not
I
get it.
didn't get it.
No one should criticize the bodily defect of a pure devotee. If you reverse devotee,
Word.
then what I said. No one should criticize the bodily defects of a pure devotee. If there are such a defects, they should be overlooked. What should be taken into account is the spiritual master's main business, which is devotion service, pure service to the Supreme Lord, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter, 30th verse. Apicheta suduracharo bhajate mamananya bhag sadur eva samantavya samyak vyavasito hisa. Now I'm giving a 5 minutes to follow. Contemplate on this verse and let me know what God wants me to say.
We can read the English translation.
Please read Prabhu. Where are you, Prabhu? This one. Apicheta suduracharo bhajate mam ananyam sadureva samantavya samyak vyavasito hisa. 9.23 or 9.30. What's the text number?
9.53.
Oh, time is up. Yes, Ramakrishna bro. What you have read?
No. That one.
Yes, master.
One should not discriminate against someone who isn't from an elevated family or who has physical defects. One only judges, one needs to simply look at the spirituality, at the sincerity of it.
Yes, Srinivas.
It's not based on where you born or it's based on what the characteristics. Like if you maybe if he is born in a Goswami family but he is not following the rules and regulations, then he is not a devotee or but even the other persons who are not born in Goswami family but he is following the rules and regulations, then he can be considered as sadhus.
But you said that one stanza you said, read about, but saying
What you have read?
about this one stanza you
What?
said.
What is that you read?
Because even if somebody seems like they're doing something wrong or bad stuff, abominable activities, don't judge them because they are a pure devotee. But first of all, you have to recognize that. This one says, don't, even if they seem to be engaged in some abominable activities, you cannot, he's still considered a sadhu because his actual identity is that of one engaged in the loving service of the Lord. But they have to recognize that.
Not think of that which family they are born, caste, ethnicity.
It's like it's similar to, see, I'm married to her. Sometimes I will be scolding her, but still I'm married. After some time I'll be, what are you doing? I'll be coming and talking to her, right?
That's
Same
an
way when one is
example.
engaged in the loving service of the Lord, sometimes by circumstance or knowingly or unknowingly or dedicatedly also, they can do some
Deliberately or dedicated?
means desiringly. Deliberately means with
Purpose.
focus with purpose, right? Yeah. Deliberately, they do something which is not related to God, but again they can come back because their aim is loving the devotional service of Lord Krishna with love. Somehow they are misdirected. So we cannot say that he is an ordinary human being. Because he has realized he is a soul, that's why he is able to do the service. Because it is not normal to do the service of Krishna Prabhu. Only when you have realized you are the soul, then only you can do this. So
Api chetas suduracharo bhajate mam ananya bhav. That word is very important. Bhajate mam ananya bhav. Unflinchingly, if he is engaged in the service of the Lord, and because of too much connection with the material energy and influence of that, if there is accidental fall down, then you should not deride him, but accept him. Mantavya. You should consider him as a sadhu only. Did I explain about Vipranarayana? Have you heard about Vipranarayana's story? Vipranarayana's story.
Yeah, I forgot, but when I was a teenager, yes.
Oh, when you were
Vipranarayana, I had the name, yeah.
Oh my God.
I had the name, the Vipranarayana, yeah. When I was in high school.
Your teacher told you.
I don't remember, but I had. They asked me so many questions.
Okay. main thing about this story is that how the Lord's devotee, if he has an accidental fall down and still he engages himself in the devotional service of the Lord, Lord says you should consider him as a sadhana. There was one devotee who was serving their Lordship Sri Ranganatha. And what was his service? Every day he used to make garlands for the Lordship. Beautiful garlands. And while making that garlands, he used to always absorb so much that he never knew that who came and who has gone. Generally, when you sit in the temple hall, so if someone comes, you look at that person who has come. It's natural. If some change is happening, immediately it attracts your attention. But this Viparanarayan was so much engrossed in his service, he never used to bother even who has come and who has gone. In that same town, there was one dancer, and her name was Devadi. She was extraordinarily good. And every day she also used to come and visit Ranganatha for Hardash. And she was bit, what we can say, after because of her beauty. So one day one of her friends, she told her, that whatever beauty you may possess, but there is a one person who never bothers about it. Then her ego got what? Ego got hurt. She said, I will see. Who is that? Okay, tomorrow we'll see when we go to the temple. So, next day, they came to temple with the sole purpose to see that who is that not paying attention to my beauty, who is not looking at me. Otherwise, even pujaris, they also turn back when they see me. And who is that person who is not looking at me? That day she decorated so beautifully with different ornaments and tinkling sound of everything, and she came. And she saw that there is one nice, handsome Brahmana, well built, very strong, and sitting and making the garlands. Actually, she got captivated by seeing him. But he never just looked at, he was just engrossed in glorifying the Lord. And he was singing very sweetly. Then she took a vow. If one day I will not make mad this person behind me, I will leave everything and I will become his slave. And that's it. So never challenge power or Shakti. You will get destroyed. But she took that challenge, but she forgot that who is that person. Now, if he is not looking at me in the public, at least in the private place, he will look at me. So she found it out that where he stays. He was staying in one of the gardens. He was taking care of that gardens. He was growing nice, beautiful flowers for the service of Ranganatha, and he used to make mala out of them. And every day, while watering the plants, he used to sing beautiful bhajans of Lord Ranganatha. As he was doing that, one day early in the morning, she came beautifully dressed, but very simple and modest. Like a Vaishnavi, proper tilak, sari, like simple, but still it was beautiful. And whatever song she heard it, what he was singing, she started singing it. And with such a melodious voice, sweet, like a cuckoo's. She used to sing and hide somewhere. So he was wondering, who has come today in the garden that singing so sweetly? So once or twice he just looked around. He was not able to see anyone. So again he engrossed himself in doing this. Again she started singing. And all of a sudden, she shouted like some snake has come and bite her. Then he ran towards, and he saw that one beautiful lady is lying down in the earth, and something has happened to her. And then he went here and he checked her pulse, and he thought that she is unconscious. So immediately he was tried to look at if someone is there who can help her out. Somebody is accompanying her, but he saw no one is there. So just to help her out, he lifted her and brought to his ashram. After some time, she came to consciousness. She regained the consciousness, and then she started crying. Then he said, "What happened? You are such a beautiful soul, and you are singing so nicely the wonderful bhajans of Lord Rangana. From where you all have learned all this?" And she said that I am from some Brahmin family, and I am like an orphan now. Nobody is there to take care of me. I'm just wondering. I was seeking some shelter from somewhere. Can you help me out? He said, "Why not? You are such a wonderful devotee. I can help you out." And she said, "Can I stay with you?" He said, "It's difficult because I am a bachelor and you are such a beautiful woman. We can't stay together like that." And she said, "Okay, accept me as your servant. Get married with me." And then he thought for a while. He said, "It must be a Lord's arrangement. Otherwise, why she will come here? That must be a Lord's arrangement." So he got married with her. And she started serving me so nicely that gradually he started stopping going to temple. And he started taking more and more association of her. And one day, out of sudden, she disappeared. And he became mad for her actually. If you are not mad for Krishna, you will mad for Maya. So you have to decide whether you are mad for Krishna or mad for Maya. Right now, all we are mad for Maya only. Maya das sada uddas, Krishna das sada viddas. Maya das is always depressed. Krishna das sada viddas. Upward and downward. Huh? Up and down, that scroll is there on the computer.
Yeah.
So like that. So be a Maya das or be a Krishna das. Choice is yours. But Lord is so benevolent and loving to his devotees. And Lord has always a friendship with each and every soul because he is a Surata, well-wisher of each and every one. So when he saw the precarious condition of Vipranarayana, he thought of helping him out. Okay, I know he has a lot of love for me, but it got covered because of her. So I don't mind, but I will help him out. And he has a desire to see that Devadevi again. And Devadevi proved her word that she made him really mad for her. And then she became so proud. Look at me, my beauty, huh? What I have done. Then Lord, he took a form of a one servant and took a one full plate of a gold. And he went to that Devadevi's palace. By seeing all that ornament, she said, "Who has sent you? Who has sent you here?" And he said, "Actually, my master sent me here to give it to you. Because you are so cruel, you left him there in the garden and came here. So he has sent this gift for you." She said, "Oh, really? He is that rich? I don't know. When I was staying with him, I never saw all these riches with him. But no worries, I will take care of it." Immediately she sent her servants. They went, they took him out from there. They brought him, they fed him nicely, they gave him a bath, decorated him nicely. And then he was sitting on the cradle and she was feeding him grapes nicely. They are sitting and having a talk. And there was a blunder in the city, town. Pujari came out and he started shouted that there is no golden plate of a lord, his ornament, everything is missing. The king got disturbed. He said, in my kingdom, I am the servant of Lord Ranganath, it belongs to Ranganath, and someone has stolen directly from Lord's palace. Who is that? He sent all his army and immediately search out each and every house. I wanted to know who has taken it. So all these soldiers, with the full attention, they went and they started seeing him. Ultimately, 2 soldiers, they came to her place also. And there they saw that big plate is full of ornaments. They said, okay, let's go. She said, where I have to go? You are a thief. You have stolen all these things from Ranganath temple. Let's walk with us. She said, oh, no, it never belongs to me actually. This person gave me. And he was shocked. Vipranath said, me? I never gave him. Oh no, your servant came and he gave me this plate. I said, my servant? What's his name? And she said, he said Ranganayaka. What? Ranganayaka? How he was looking? He was very attractive, but he was black in color. And as he heard that, he started crying like anything. He ran back to the temple, stood in front of their lordship and started crying, oh my lord, what you have done? Was such a dread full of desire. To fulfill that desire, you came. That incident shows that Lord, how much He gives value to His devotees when they are engaged in His devotional service. He Himself came as a servant. He represented Himself as a servant of His devotee. And then King, when he heard that Vipranath has taken this, he also never believed that. How can Vipranath? I have seen him. He is always absorbed and engrossed in the glorification of Lord, and how he can do that? When they brought that plate, that got disappeared. Then they realized this is Lord's desire only. And in that Devi also reside that whom she has offended is that person whom even Lord considered as his master. And Lord's desire to render service to him. He is such a great soul and I have committed such offense. Next day she shaved off her head, put a white cloth and came and begged forgiveness from Vipranath. Please forgive me, I have done a blunder in your life. Please give me a chance to do atonement. Prayaschitta for that. And he said, okay. Previously you came with that desire, now you have come with this desire. You are most welcome. And then again they have started their own life. And both they got totally engaged in the service of Lord Ranganatha. That is what? Bhajate Mam Ananya Bhav. Without any reservation, if you take shelter of their Lordship, then even their Lordship comes to serve you. That's the meaning of this verse. So it does not mean that now you are a pure devotee, so you got a license to commit all sins. So you do all nonsense and say I am a devotee. Don't take that undue advantage of Lord's love for you. But always be cautious of the things. Then further, what has written? Even if a devotee sometimes seems to engage in abominable activities, he should be considered a sadhu, a saintly person, because his actual identity is that of one engaged in the loving service of the Lord. In other words, he is not to be considered as an ordinary human being. Even though a pure devotee may not be born in a Brahmana or Goswami families, if he engaged in the service of the Lord, he should not be neglected. In actuality, there cannot be a family of a Goswamis based on the material consideration, caste and heredity. The Goswami title is actually the monopoly of the pure devotees. Thus we speak with the 6 Goswamis, headed by the Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami. Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami has practically became Mohammedans and had therefore changed their names to Dabir Khas and Sakarmali. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself made them Goswamis. Therefore, the Goswami title is not hereditary. The word Goswami refers to one who can control his senses, who is master of the senses. A devotee is not controlled by the senses, but is the controller of the senses. Consequently, he should be called Swami or Goswami, even though he may not born in a Goswami family. According to this formula, the Goswami who are descendants of a Nityananda Prabhu and Sri Advaita Prabhu are certainly devotees. But devotees coming from other families should not be discriminated against. Indeed, whether the devotees come from a family of a previous Acharya or from an ordinary family, they should be treated equally. One should not think, oh, here is the American Goswamis, and discriminating against him. Nor should one think, here is a Nityananda Vamsha Goswami. There is an undercurrent of a protest against our awarding the title Goswami to the American Vaishnavas of the Krishna consciousness movement. Sometimes people flatly tell the Americans devotee that their sannyas or title of Goswami is not bona fide. However, according to the statement of Sri Rupa Goswami in this verse, an American Goswami and Goswami in a family of Acharya are non-different. On the other hand, a devotee who has attended the title Goswami but is not born of a Brahmana father or Goswami in the family of a Nityananda or Advaita Prabhu should not be artificially puffed up by thinking that he has become a Goswami. He should always remember that as soon as he becomes materially puffed up, he immediately falls down. This Krishna consciousness movement is the transcendental science, and there is no room for jealousy. This moment is meant for Paramahansas who are completely free from all jealousy. Paramam Niramatsaranam. One should not be jealous whether he is born in a family of a Goswami or has the title Goswami awarded to him. As soon as anyone becomes envious, he falls from the platform of Paramahansa. That we have to understand. The asuya or envy that brings us down from our spiritual platform. If we consider the bodily defects of Vaishnava, we should understand that we are committing an offense at the lotus feet of the Vaishnava. Once, Ashtavakra. Have you heard about Ashtavakra? Yes or no?
No.
No.
Ashtavakra, there is one Gita called as Ashtavakra Gita.
Yes.
Yeah, what was that?
But I don't know in Hindi.
From him only last time.
He was deformed in 8 different places in his body. So when he entered to Maharaj Janaka's assembly, everyone started laughing at him. And then he also started laughing at him. Everyone was surprised. Then Maharaj Janak asked him, why you are laughing? I can understand they are laughing at you because your body is deformed. But why you are laughing at them? He said, the first time I have seen all the cobblers sitting, not cobblers, what they call, cobbler only, na? The mochi, shoemaker, cobbler. All cobblers are sitting in this assembly. Everyone got enraged with anger. I said, what? You are calling us a cobbler? You know who am I? I belong to Kshatriya dynasty. This, that. And then Brahmanas, they got up, you know, I am this Brahmana, that Brahmana, I belong to this dynasty, that dynasty. He said, what is the use of that word? All you are laughing at me, you are seeing the external skin only. And who gives the value for the skin? Only cobbler. So you people are not better than that. So one should understand that when you make a point or when you give some statement about some Vaishnava, by looking at him, seeing him externally, don't do that. It's a great offense. Because you can't make it out who is who. Even though a pure devotee may not be born. Okay, that we have read.
If we consider the bodily defects of a Vaishnava,
We should understand that we are committing an offense at the lotus feet of Vaishnava. An offense at the lotus feet of Vaishnava is very serious. Indeed, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has described in the offenses as Hatimata, the mad elephant offense. A mad elephant can create a disaster, especially when it enters into a nicely trimmed garden. One should therefore be very careful not to commit any offense against a Vaishnava. Every devotee should be ready to take instruction from a superior Vaishnava, and superior Vaishnava must ready to help an inferior Vaishnava in all respects. One is superior or one inferior according to his spiritual development in Krishna consciousness. One is forbidden to observe the activities of pure Vaishnava from a material point of view. For the neophyte, especially, considering a pure devotee from a material point of view is a very injurious. One should therefore avoid observing a pure devotee externally, but should try to see the internal feature and understand how he is engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. In this way, one can avoid seeing the pure devotee from the material point of view, and thus one can gradually become a purified devotee himself. Those who think that Krishna consciousness is limited to a certain section of a people, a certain section of a devotee, or a certain tract of a land are generally prone to see the external features of the Lord. Such a neophyte is unable to appreciate the exalted service of the advanced devotee. Try to bring the Mahabhagavat to their platform. Has experienced such a difficulty in propagating Krishna consciousness all over the world. Unfortunately, we are surrounded by the neophyte brothers who do not appreciate extraordinary activities of spreading Krishna consciousness all over the world. They simply try to bring us to their platform, and they try to criticize us in every respect. We very much regret their navy activities and poor fund of knowledge. An empowered person who is actually engaged in the confidential service of the Lord should not be treated as an ordinary human being. For it is stated that unless one is empowered by Krishna, one cannot spread the Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. Krishna Shakti Vinanahi Tara Pravartan. Unless and until Lord empowers you, you can't do anything in this world, whether materially or spiritually. When one thus criticizes a pure devotee, he commits an offense, Vaishnava Aparad. That is very obstructive and dangerous for those who desire to advance in a Krishna consciousness. A person cannot derive any spiritual benefit when he offends the lotus feet of Vaishnava. Everyone should therefore be very careful not to be jealous of an empowered Vaishnava or Shuddha Vaishnava. It is also an offense to consider an empowered Vaishnava an object of disciplinary action. It is offensive to try to give him advice or to correct him. One can distinguish between a neophyte Vaishnavas and advanced Vaishnavas by their activities. The advanced Vaishnava is always situated as the spiritual master, and the neophyte is always considered his disciple. The spiritual master must not be subjected to advice of disciples, nor should a spiritual master be obliged to take instruction from those who are not his disciples. This is the sum and substance of Rupa Goswami's advice in the 6th verse. So any comment or any question that we can discuss?
We're looking at what we should not do, which is very important. We should not judge, basically. And I'm thinking, one of the things I notice that devotees do that help me is when they share something from their heart, when they share a teaching, when they give me some helpful advice, when they invite me to do a service with them, or, there's so many nice things. If other devotees weren't around, I wouldn't have that. There's a growth. Each devotee has a clear personality, and it's really beautiful because each devotee is unique, and each devotee has some different things to offer. And as
Each and every living entity is unique, created by the Lord, with a unique ability. That's why in the Vedas it is said that amantram aksharo nasti nasti moolam anaushadhi ayogyaha purusho nasti yojagas tatra durlabha. Each and every syllable has a power to create a mantra. Amantram aksharam nasti. There is no syllable from which you can't make out mantra. Nasti moolam anaushadhi. There is no root from which you can extract medicine. Ayogyaha purusho nasti. You are not able to find out any unqualified person. Everyone has some qualification which makes him unique. Then what's the problem? Problem is that yojagas tatra durlabha. The person who can organize this is rare. And that's what's happening. What do you mean by engineer? What's the true meaning of engineer?
Design, proper design.
Huh?
Who design things properly.
Or who creates problem for other design?
Designs things properly.
Building, creating things.
He is a well organizer who puts things together so that they can work. They can give some output. So yojakas tatra durlabha. In spiritual terminology, spiritual master is that yojak. He looks at you, he finds out what are the unique quality that you have, and you can use it for Krishna's service. And according to that, he dovetail all your activities so that you can serve the Lordship with your natural inborn qualities.
Yes.
Yes?
In the
This is what happens. And this is how it works. That's why you need association of devotees. Then only you will, because sometimes we don't understand ourselves. We don't know what we have born with. How many of you really know, you tell me? That I know exactly that what I am. Huh?
I don't know.
No.
Sometimes something comes out of you that you never knew that you can do this.
Yeah.
And you have done that. Nobody from your previous life can make it out that, hey, this person, oh, he has done this. Because all things are hidden, concealed in your heart. And that need to be opened up. Generally it is considered the mother is the first yojaka. Because she knows what are the inner nature that you are come up with. So she tries to cultivate that. She tries to develop that. That's why to get a really good mother who can unlock yourself, you are blessed with that. She can do that. Next is teacher. Few things that your parents, they can't make it out. But teacher, they can make it out. And they try to shape that character. And greater than that is spiritual master, who unlocks your nature. He finds out your constitution, and according to that he images you. That's why you need to take initiation. you need to take shelter of spiritual master. Because he begins your spiritual life. He gives that impetus so that you can become serious and sincere in your spiritual life. You should have that mode when you're taking a session. Otherwise we think, oh, now I am senior, For 5 years I have read books, and I am taking initiation from one of the world's famous spiritual masters. So I am going to be famous now. If you have that mode, you will also sink and you will take your guru also down there.
That's not.
So better to have a good consciousness before you take initiation.
Consciousness.
Prepare yourself. Be really conscious.
Consciousness is spiritual master will take the best constitution from me and use it in the service of Krishna.
Okay? Best, everything best out of you. And that's why he is there. So never judge him on the material point of view. Oh, because he is so strong, so big, that's why he is my spiritual. No. That are not the symptoms by which you can get attracted to spiritual master. Okay? Anything else?
So
Any doubt?
Vaishnava, you said you should not, we should not speak wrong about them. But how do you know he is a Vaishnava?
By his activities. By seeing him, if you remember Krishna, he is a Vaishnava. That's the basic quality Bhaktivinoda Thakur has explained. Vaishnava who knows how to make other Krishna conscious, who always endeavor to make others Krishna conscious, who always try to maintain their consciousness
At
to
least,
serve Krishna.
at least in my case, at least I'm in this Krishna consciousness for 3 years. At least I know who is God, how to select a God, or what are the qualities of God and what are the qualities of Guru and what is the quality of Vaishnavas. At least basic. So, but if you take an ordinary person, other than
Sorry?
if any other who don't have any this information, and he thinks everyone as good, and he can think a proper person as a bogus guru also. In that case, how to?
See, first thing, Rupa Goswami has explained in this part. What is the quality of a Kanishta Vaishnava? He never makes difference between non-devotees and devotees. For him, he is good, He goes, eat night, drinks, meat, marry, whatever it is. He's a nice guy. Devotee, he is also very nice, He does not have any difference. He never makes it out what exactly it is. But there is another category which is Madhyamadikari. Madhyamadikari knows what are the symptoms of non-devotees. What are the symptoms of devotees? What is God? How to serve Him? What is the process? And he tries to teach it to others. That is what Madhyamadikari. And Uttamadikari, he is always desperate to make others Krishna conscious. Because he himself totally absorbed in Krishna consciousness, so he tries to find a way so that he can engage all others in Krishna consciousness. And how he does? By practicing his Krishna consciousness unflinchingly, without any doubts or interpretation. And by seeing him, one becomes devotee. Like once Prabhupada was sitting and he was writing something. And when newcomer came, he just opened the door and Prabhupada was drinking of water. Like this. And he saw that and he was stunned. That was first time in his life. And that's it. That made him a devotee. After a few years, when they were discussing that how you come to Krishna consciousness, when everyone was giving their own story, then they asked him, how you came? So I saw Prabhupada drinking water and I came to become a Krishna conscious. He said, how? The way he was doing it so expertly, he took a glass and he was holding like this and water was coming down and exactly going to his mouth, and it was looking like he was taking some golden elixir. And that flashed me, that what I am doing. and I became a devotee. One fellow, he saw that Prabhupada just once having a Mosambi, he sucked the juice and some seed also went to his mouth. So by just sitting there only, and that exactly went and dropped down into the dustbin. That fellow was shocked. He said, it's such an expert in everything. If I try to do that, it will take years for me to practice every day. And just by sitting at this, at the age of 71, this person, and that seed is going and putting it in the dustbin. Exactly. One air hostess, Prabhupada was traveling from US to London, and that air hostess, so morning breakfast, she served that hot dogs or bulldog, whatever that, so everyone's whatever they asked for. She came to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada was having a popped rice. And it was in his Prabhupada plate, and Prabhupada was having it. She came, she looked at, she liked it, so she put her hand, grabbed some popped rice from Prabhupada's plate, and she walked. And she had it. And after having that, she came up with a wonderful decorated plate of fruits, and she offered it to Prabhupada. And after 20 years, devotees, they went somewhere in the Europe for book distribution, and they got stuck somewhere in the forest. And it was a really beautiful forest. But they were hungry, what to do now? Where to eat? So they were looking here and there, where to go, how to go. They saw one big mansion. So they went there. They knocked on the door. One lady, she opened the middle-aged lady, she opened the door. And she saw these two monks are standing. She said, Hare Krishna. What surprise, in the midst of the forest, some lady out of a blue, she is saying that Hare Krishna. They said, Hare Krishna. We need some place actually, we want to cook something for our deities. She said, you mean prasad? Come inside, I will give you. They were shocked. They said, what? She is saying prasad. She said, okay, come down. So they went and they saw in the living room, they saw the beautiful ladies of Gauri. They're like a new system in which Bhakti Viksha goes. From who has cultivated you? Who is your Shiksha Guru? All these questions started. Then she stopped for a while. And then she narrated this whole story of.
Right.
She was the air hostess.
Having the food from
She
Prabhupada.
says that was me, who got that one handful of a popped rice. And my life had changed. So that's the purity. You want to know Vaishnava? He is Vaishnava. By his activities, by his deeds, he can attract any conditioned soul toward Krishna. That makes them Vaishnava. Got it? Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Srila Rupa Goswami Pad ki
Jai.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.